Alrighty, all good on. We are taking a look at some epic posts that we have found from Australia. This is going to be a good one. Seriously, please stick around for this one. It's going to be fun. Forget about the spiders. Forget about the snakes. Australia flies are what you should be worried about. Oh my God. Whoa. You know, this is something we've always heard, right? That the flies are another level, and it's hard to picture because I feel like flies can be so annoying even here where I am. But honestly, nah, they're nothing like that. Like the worst it gets is if it's really hot and humid, not even really flies, like little gnats, like the really little hairy things, right? They'll be flying around outside and they kind of get in your face and it's annoying, right? They've even kind of like went up my nose before. But like that's pretty rare and it's not, you know, a huge deal. This is crazy because, yeah, you can see these are legit flies. They're just chilling all over her back and shoulder. That's kind of crazy. I hope these things don't kind of bite a little bit, right? Ugh. Oh, what does she do? How do you prevent this, right? How do you prevent this? Or is it just something you got to deal with? Nah, because you'd have to take me to a psych ward to live in Australia. Oh, my God. We see these kind of comments a lot. Yeah, I don't think it's that intense. But man, some people are really scared of Australia. And I think a lot of Australians are probably a little shocked to hear that. And they might be laughing. Wow, look at that. Got to throw in some good views. You know I love the good views. And Australia, just full of them. Look at Lord Howe Island. Captured at the perfect moment. The water, the sky, the rainbow. Damn. Just kind of further proof a lot of people are probably happy that most people across the world are scared to visit Australia or rather live or, you know, move there. Because whoever's already there gets to enjoy this with a lot less people around. Although, look at Australia right now. Eastern Australia towns experience thickest snowfall in decades. I just heard about this a few days ago. Yeah, so I got some emails about this. So finally checking it out. I already knew that parts of Australia can get snow, right? I have to say, though, right, this seems to be even more than normal. Come on, we're talking about Australia here. This is not what you usually picture. I don't think y'all usually get snow like this. 100 vehicles stranded by snow. That's insane. Now, all these people with Utes and Subarus and such, I think they're happy now because they get to put that four-wheel drive right in gear and they're good to go as long as they're careful still. Remember, you can even if you get traction on snow, doesn't matter if you're in a beastly four-wheel drive, you may be able to take off easy, but you can't stop easy no matter what you're in. So always be careful out there. I wonder driving in snow how it would be because I hate to say this, but I feel like a lot of people aren't as experienced in snow, and it might be a little bit chaotic out there on the streets.
G'day, folks. Welcome to winter in northern New South Wales. I'm just out of Glen Innes, and it's teeming. It's pelting down. It's actually.
Let me tell you, it is so bizarre for me to hear after all the people I've talked to, after all the Australian media I've consumed. It is so weird to hear an Australian, right? He's got the look, he's got the Australian accent, right? It's so interesting to hear this guy talking surrounded by a storm, right? Snowing, can't barely see behind him. You know, totally whiteout conditions, and he's bundled up. It's
wonderful
just
day.
So bizarre.
Beautiful winter's day. It's cold, but believe it or not, I'm not far from the Queensland border. I'm about 2 hours from the Queensland border. So,
wow, even that far north. That is so crazy. Look at that.
I think there's much of a...
Dang it, the music. TikTok allows it, YouTube doesn't. Yeah, I don't think there's much of a fire risk. I think that's what he's saying. I don't think so. I don't think you'll have to worry about bushfires Today. No, I don't think so. I wonder how most people are taking this. I think there's, of course, going to be the occasional person that's kind of like, oh, man, screw this. You know, they're going to be bummed out. They're going to be not excited to drive in this and walk in this. I bet most people, though, are probably pretty stoked, pretty excited, I imagine, out there playing in the snow. I'm sure the kiddos are just enjoying the heck out of this. Of course, even the commenters are loving it. Not going to lie, I don't think I've ever seen an image of or video of it snowing in Australia in my entire life. Love to see it. Me too.
I could just jump in the train. I could just, like, there's nothing stopping me. What in the...
What?
Huh? And then, like, once it's done, I just walk. What? The government trusts me to cross the... I could just jump.
I'm a little confused. Australia has no health and safety laws. I seriously doubt that. I know it's just like a title. I think, you know, she's an adult, right? Common sense comes to mind. There might be a sign saying don't walk into the train, even if there's not a gate, right? You know, and a train crossing on the road here, of course, you'll have a gate that comes down with the lights and the sound, but, you know, that's more for traffic and stuff. Hopefully I mean, it looks like she knows not to, you know, walk into that. I think that would hurt pretty bad. So.
Things I wish I knew before I moved to Australia. First of all,
this should be good.
are just not what you would expect. In Australia, we're gonna find some Hemsworth brothers, but I fear it's more like, Anna described them as gothic lumberjacks, which is unique. Still don't know what Australian food is. Can someone please explain to me what Australian food is? I've been living here for 4 months.
Guys, gotta love that, right? Yeah, thinking all the men would be Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's realistic, right?
That I still don't know. Also, their coffee is really strong, but it's really good. This is just a me thing, but I wasn't expecting to like Vegemite, and I kind of love it. Australia is actually huge.
Pretty good.
Going into this, but I never realized
very versatile.
How insanely big it is. Like, the reality is nothing is actually close to Australia. Also, Aussies are very blunt. They always say what they're thinking, and they will not be shy to call you out for being an American. I will say that. Also,
you know what? Yeah, I think that can be a little bit jarring for most Americans, but I think you learn to like it. I think it's pretty respectable. They're straight up. They're honest. They're the real deal. I love it.
The AFL team is literally like Harry Potter. They wear the little scarves and they have like the posts like Harry. Like it's Quidditch. It's Quidditch. So their football.
Now that's a first. Love to see your guys' reaction to that. AFL's like Harry Potter. Oof. I didn't say it. Don't come after me.
It's not like American football or even soccer. It's like soccer, football, and rugby mixed into one thing, and the field is bigger than a football field. There's cockatoos flying around. It's a whole spiel. Okay, this one actually blew my mind. Everyone lives at home, like with their parents. Even in school, we go to the University of Melbourne, and all of the students live at home and commute, which was kind of a cool
interesting
because we go to USC and like everyone just lives on campus, and I thought that was normal. We normally go out in LA, and personally, I have.
Is that like always been a thing, or is it because is it only a recent thing? Maybe cost of living crisis could, you know, because that's like starting to be a thing just with adults, not even just college students or university students, but just like a thing in general here in the US. Like more and more people, even like 29, 30-year-olds are having to stay at home with their parents if they can't afford to get a house, because nowadays it's crazy, right? Or maybe this has just always been an Australian thing.
Not loved the going out scene here. I feel like it's very low key and also just super random groups of people, and it just hasn't lived up to my expectations, I guess. Since being here, I've only seen one spider, and it was about the size of a dime. So everyone who's telling me to freak out about the insects and the bugs here, like, I haven't seen a single weird bug. I will say though, if you're
now, this is a good take. I'm glad to hear that, right? We always see people freak out about the bugs, the spiders, everything's the size of a dinner plate. It's nice to hear that someone's been there for a while and has seen nothing other than a regular little spider that you would, you know, that size spider you would see anywhere, including here in the U.S. So that's cool to hear, right? It's not all doom and gloom, right? Of course, if you go out in the middle outback, you're going to see some crazy stuff. But if you're in a normal place, a normal city, I'm sure, you know, seeing giant, scary spiders is not an everyday thing, like most Australians say it's not. Who knew, right?
If you're out in the
Cool
countryside,
to hear.
you will see little wallabies running around. They kind of look like
That's
mini
fun.
So freaking cute. People walk around without shoes on a lot. We thought it was just like a beach thing, but people will be on Instagram without shoes on, and it's just like normal. Generally speaking, the culture here is very active. Like, people are always out in the mornings, like running or cycling or whatever. They go out earlier, like everything.
That needs to be more of a thing here. I mean, it is. It's just not for enough people.
It happens earlier in the day. Also, I'm not bashing Australia. I have loved it so much. We love living here so much. There's just a lot of things that were different or maybe we weren't expecting. That's all I can think of right now. I'm sure there's more things, but all in all, love Australia. There's just some things that I wasn't necessarily expecting.
All right, there you go. Well, this was the biggest culture shock in Australia.
That's interesting. Where?
What?
That's interesting.
How is it doing that? The sand makes a squeaky noise when it's clean? What?
Where?
Is that real or is this fake? Is she like adding that in?
That's interesting.
Okay, I've been in so many different sand areas in the U.S. I've had the pleasure of being on both coasts, West Coast, East Coast. I've been in desert sand. I've been in white sands in New Mexico National Park. Like, I've been in a lot of different sands. Never heard sand make any noise, especially a squeaky noise that's very apparent. What on earth? Oh my God, we got to go to comments. If this is real, that's pretty crazy. Like, very cool and interesting. You mean to tell me not all sand is squeaky? No. No, not all sand is squeaky. I've never heard of squeaky sand in my life. Heck no, I've never had squeaky sand. All sand is squeaky, I promise. They just haven't been on enough beaches to know when the sand heats up, it squeaks. I mean, I've been on hot sand, really hot sand that almost burned me, and it still wasn't squeaking. The number of people that are shocked the rest of the world doesn't have squeaky sand is baffling. What? I gotta hear if this is real, and if it's real, I'm thinking it is real. If it's real, someone has to know, right? Who's gonna explain to me how that works? That is fascinating. Now, Australia does have absolutely fascinating, unique, big, and just, Australian wildlife, right? Very unique place. But if you didn't conclude already, I'm showing this as a, public announcement here, just to watch out. That is, of course, advertised as breaking news. This is the description. This is the description from the video. Breaking news. Megalodon found stranded on remote Australian island. Location unnamed at this moment. Somewhere off Australia's east coast. Incredible aerial footage captures a jaw-dropping moment as a helicopter surveys a gigantic megalodon shark that mysteriously washed ashore, measuring estimated 60 feet long. This prehistoric marine predator, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you get the point. Now, I could say with certainty, with 99% certainty, maybe I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm right, though. This is AI, okay? Just letting you guys know, in case anyone's not in the know or hasn't seen this stuff yet. Some of it can look sort of realistic if it's more realistic depicting, scenes or scenarios. But yeah, Australia has some cool stuff, but I don't think y'all have megalodons washing up on the beach, especially with people all around. This is AI, so you've been warned. Be careful out there. If you see something too crazy, it's probably AI. And it's, for like 1 second, it's like, ooh, this is kind of fascinating what AI can do. That's kind of fun. But then you start thinking about it and you realize, damn, there's too much, like, it's weird. It's weird, it's risky, it's crazy, and it's gonna be hard to decipher what's real and what's not. And that's kind of a shame, right? That's weird. I don't like that. Swimming in Tea Tree Lake. What on earth? It literally looks like she's swimming in tea. What the heck? What do the comments say? All fun and games until you see a river dolphin? What on earth is that? I feel like the water smells like iced peach tea. Dude, that would be epic. That would be epic if it did. That is really cool. Again, another thing that I've never seen in Australia. Very, very fascinating. What's the explanation? I gotta hear it. This is so freaking cool.
Swam on the mangrove boardwalk. This was the most fun thing I have done in Darwin. I was pretty much able to float the entire way down. It was so much fun. I swam on the mangrove boardwalk. Call me crazy, but this was the most fun thing I have done.
Okay, Darwin, that's way up there. That's instantly making me think that is big time crocodile country. This is crazy. And is this obviously flooded? So instead of a boardwalk, it's now
done in Darwin.
Just a swimming tunnel, right? What on earth? Isn't that like a sushi train for crocs? I'm way too scared for that. Probably, yeah. Okay. Screw it though, right? It being in Darwin is painfully ironic. It is. We had some actual really interesting fun ones in this one. Hell yeah. More to come. I appreciate you watching. I hope you've been doing well. The comments should be good on this one, for sure. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. Until next time, y'all. Catch you later.